Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Press Play Lifestyle Inspired podcast, where we do interviews with interesting and inspiring people like our new friend here, Rochele, to help our listeners, that's you, find the resources, tools, and support you need to be your best inspired selves. So how are you doing today, Miss Rochele?
Absolutely fabulous.
Oh, that's the best answer I've heard all day. So where are you in the world?
Right now I am in San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, so it's warm by you. I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and it's a little rainy, but we're above 50, so I'm going to say it's warm for us.
Okay, yes, I would agree. It's let me tell you, it's probably presently here.
Got to be in the 70s or 80s, something like that.
Oh, girl, it's probably hotter than that. It is probably around 84. Oh, I'm sorry. Whoa, it's 92 degrees.
Oh my goodness. I think I might actually melt at 92 degrees.
Yeah, I am melting. That's why I'm sitting in the house with the air conditioner on. Because when you're as sweet as we are, we melt easily.
We're like the best kind of chocolate, right? Smooth and
Exactly.
So, Miss Rochele, you have so many wonderful things going on. I love your programs. I love your website. It's so inspiring. Can you just try to put a little bit of your greatness in a little bitty intro bucket so the listeners can get to know you a bit?
Yes. So I'm Rochel Marie Lawson, known as the Queen of Feeling Fabulous. This is just because how I roll. I've been developing this fabulousness over probably the last 30 plus years. But yeah, so, and what I like to do, or what I focus on, is really helping people to step into living the life of their dreams. And when I say that, it's real specific as to what I do, because I focus on wellness, which I know, let me rephrase that, which I know is our greatest asset. I focus on wisdom, because without wisdom, we make inappropriate, incorrect decisions that can lead us down a life of HELL. And I focus on wealth, because when you have the finances and the prosperity and abundance that flows into your life, and you combine those other two aspects that I focus on, you can actually really live the life of your dreams. Now, me being a registered nurse and an Ayurvedic nurse practitioner and a very seasoned business owner of 31 years, I know the good, the bad, and the ugly of when you don't have good health and all those other pieces aren't in play. So I help people to really, first of all, streamline what they want to focus on in those areas, build a plan, because, as a business owner yourself, if you don't have a business plan, even if it's in your head, you don't have a business plan, it's like having a map with no points to go to. So if you're in California, you're trying to get to New York, you may not even know you're in California, and you surely won't know how to get to New York without a plan, right? And so I help people to develop their plan that's right for them in those 3 areas, so that they can step into living the life of their dreams.
That is beautiful and timely. I'm glad I'm interviewing you now, and it wasn't like 6 months ago. So I'm curious of your perspective on this question, because I think we've always been told, or we kind of innately know, that wellness we're shoulding on ourselves, should be important. But I feel like I'm hopeful that the Corona stuff is actually having people live that, like that wellness is the beginning. It's the everything, right? Have you seen any, because that your client base is very specific. Have you seen anyone shift from yeah to whoa?
With regards to my clients, yeah, because I really emphasize that, our health and well-being is our greatest asset. Now, my background in nursing is I was an emergency room trauma nurse when I worked clinically. So yeah, I saw the good, the bad, and the very, very ugly of when we don't take care of ourselves. And I'm actually, being from the San Francisco Bay Area, I'm a California, I'm a Silicon Valley girl to my heart. Being from that area and living there, I had the privilege of taking care of some very influential executive CEOs of these major corporations that are in existence today, one being Apple. And that particular gentleman, unfortunately, who's no longer with us, the first time I took care of him, he was just beginning to get sick. And he began to recognize the value of his health and well-being, but it was too late. But he told me he would give me all his money if he could be as healthy and well and look as vibrant and radiant and have all the energy that I had. And I kind of laughed and said, okay, you can give it to me. I can help you out.
I'll take
it. Right. And the second time I took care of this gentleman, initials SJ, you know, he was really sick. And he told me, girl, you're still as radiant and as vibrant as the very first time I saw you. And he said, I really wish I would have valued my health and well-being just a little bit more, because maybe I wouldn't be in the situation I'm in today. He says, I have all this money, but I can't buy my health and well-being. And that really stuck with me. And he says, he told me, you make sure you go out and spread the word with regards to this, because people don't value their health and well-being until they don't have it. And I've seen that. I've seen people at conferences and things of that nature spend thousands of dollars on that next get rich business scheme for their business, but won't spend $200 on investing in their health and well-being. So it's very sad to me. Now, with regards to COVID, AKA the coronavirus, I really haven't seen that here in Texas, so to speak. I think people don't realize that because it doesn't affect them personally, it doesn't affect them, but it affects all of us. Because here in Texas, in San Antonio particularly, you cannot go outside the house without wearing a mask, even though those masks that we're all wearing that aren't surgical masks really don't do that much for us. The virus can still penetrate through the mask. It's just very interesting. It's just very interesting. But those who have been afflicted by having someone close to them or someone they know, they change their whole mindset with regards to it. They're very almost to the point of being OCD with it. So I could say a little bit yes, but a lot of it no, because again, if it's not personally affecting you or someone you know and love and care about, it's, oh, that happens to them, or, you know, I'm not chronically ill, or whatever the case may be. And I had a really good friend pass away from the coronavirus. And she wasn't chronically ill. And so I just wish people would really, really pay more attention to their health and well-being, and not when it's deteriorating, but when they're in that state of feeling really good right now in that moment. Keep that with them and really focus on that, because it is very important.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially if you've had someone close to you pass, that you're like, no, really, people, let's take this seriously. So what did your journey start? So you said health, wellness, wisdom, and wealth, which I love.
Yeah. www.
www. It's like the internet. No. Did your journey to helping people design the life of their dreams, did it start from a specific incident or from a specific place, or did you just evolve into where you are now?
I kind of evolved into it. It's something I've always done. See, I had a journey for 17 years where I was not healthy, but I faked it really good. And it started when I was 8. And I went to a gazoodle of doctors, and no one could ever diagnose what I had. And it wasn't until I became a nurse that I realized what I had. And fortunately for me, I got this beautiful download from God that God basically put into what I was already doing. It was just all scattered and jumbled, but I was given 9 steps to follow to heal myself. And it wasn't anything definitely no pharmaceuticals, because I'm anti-pharmaceutical to the hill. But it was 9 holistic things that I was already doing. But like I said, they were scattered and jumbled, and it was a sequence of steps. And it was like, I was at my wit's end. So, I mean, I was like, okay, I've tried everything else, you know. I'ma listen, God. You got my ears, heart, mind, body, right?
Yeah.
And so the amazing thing was I followed these steps, and as I began to follow them, I started feeling better. I started having less pain, less discomfort. And in 9 months, I was healed after suffering for 17 years. And I've never, ever been sick since. I don't get the flu. I don't get colds. I don't get anything. And I still follow those principles today. And what I later realized was they were principles of Ayurvedic medicine, which is why I became an Ayurvedic nurse practitioner. But the funny thing is, I would do these things with my patients in the emergency department. When I have 5 patients having heart attacks, and I tell this one, okay, now I want you to meditate, like focus on positive energy flowing into your heart. And then I go to the next one, okay, let's do some breathing techniques. And I would just do that to those that were receptive. They thought I was crazy, but they change, their monitor rhythms change, and these people would come back to me in the middle of my night shift, because I work nights 11 p to 7 a. They would come back to me and tell me how I changed their life, and that I wasn't crazy, and that I had a gift, and I was like, I'm just doing what worked for me, and I just want to share it with the world. And so that's how it all began. And I know the value of health and well-being. I've had people in my family that have been sick. My dad died of congestive heart failure. And I couldn't help him, because by the time I discovered this for myself, his condition was too far gone. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I came from software development, actually, my 20 years of being like a very technical person. And I did a test because I don't believe anybody about anything. And it was just like meditation. Like, I'm Christian, so I pray. But I was like, okay, I'll try this. It doesn't have to be anti-God to be meditation. And I literally saw my heart rate drop like 40 points in like 2 minutes. And all I did different was breathe. And I was like, oh, maybe we need to be listening a little hard. Like, it was just amazing to me to literally like see a physiological change and feel better, right? And like how shallow I was always breathing, very, very shallow, and wondering why I was always out of breath. Well, okay, because you're going like a puppy dog running around panting all the time. So it was very interesting for me. So you move from wellness, and wisdom, I'm sure, is something you've gathered throughout. So how did the wealth component kind of get added in? Was that just part of running a successful business, or did something come up for you?
So here's the thing. So the wealth component came in because I have another business that I actually started in 1989 when I couldn't get hired as an electrical engineer in Silicon Valley in the 80s, because I looked like I was 12, I was female, and there was a male-dominated industry. Yeah. And so after being turned down by all those big companies, I decided I'd start a business myself with my husband. And telecommunications was just a booming thing. So go back, way, 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 way back. All we had working girl was a pager. And if you had a pager where you got a text, you were a high roller, you were like a CEO or something, right?
Yeah.
So,
I might have started back then too.
So I started that business, and that business became one of the top 50 women-owned businesses in Silicon Valley. It's still in business today after 31 years. And just being really mindful with money management. I've been able to go around the world. Again, I have this successful first business that allows me to have this second business that I've had since 2008 that, feeds my soul, so to speak. And so people would ask me, well, how are you doing all this? How are you doing all this? How are you driving that kind of car? How are you living that kind of lifestyle? How do you run a business? You got kids and a husband and all this. And it was basically because I knew that I knew something was different for me. I knew I wanted something. I'm the only girl in my whole entire family. So I was like a little princess, but I was a tomboy, undercover little princess, right? Mm-hmm. But I always knew that the things I wanted to do and the things that I wanted for myself required money, and not being arrogant with it or anything, but just knowing that I wanted a better lifestyle for my kids, and just to live in better neighborhoods, and not that I lived in a bad neighborhood. It's just I like luxury. but I like paying for that bargain prices, so to speak,
Yeah.
right? And so people would ask me how I'm doing this and how I was able to take my business from being an unknown business to being one of the top 50 women-owned businesses in Silicon Valley. And it all revolved about how I utilize wealth to exponentially open up doors for me and my family and those that I love and care about with regards to being able to do what I wanted to do. So when I decided to focus on the wellness, wisdom, and wealth, I knew that I could connect the wellness. Remember, that's your greatest asset, with your wealth, which people think is their greatest asset, through wisdom. And the people that I've been able to show that to and help with, and we create their own unique blue plan for it, have came back and said, oh my God, I thought you were crazy. Or when you told me to do this, I thought you, but look at what I'm able to do. Look where I started and look where I am now. And things are accelerating, growing. I'm sustaining it. I'm not making it and losing it, making it and losing it. I'm actually making it, sustaining it, and building it for future generations. So I thought, okay, maybe I'm onto something, but I was just doing it because it's just things that I've done in my life and it's worked, and I just wanted to share it with others.
Well, sometimes experience is the greatest teacher, though, right? So
Yes,
speaking of,
ma'am.
we weren't really speaking of it, but it's a great transition. So you seem like you might be a bit unstoppable. And you also seem like you're one of those women that said, oh, male dominated, you don't want me? I got this. So this Unstoppable Woman Summit is something that you're in the middle of doing right now. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So for years and years and years and years and years, people have always said that I've been a trendsetter or I'm a leader. And I just thought I was just a girl doing what I needed to do, right? I did think of myself as a trendsetter. I didn't think I was a leader. I knew I wasn't a follower, but I did think of myself as a leader. And over the years, I've mentored women or young ladies, the millennial. I can't even say millennial because my daughter is really not a millennial. She's right before a millennial. But I've, just always mentored women in helping them to step in and turn their passions into purpose and profit and show them things to do. And so last year, when the Me Too stuff started coming out with these other women, well, I experienced that in the 80s when I couldn't get hired as an electrical engineer. This is what I would hear. We'd love to have you. You did fabulous on everything, but you're going to be working with men that are your father's age. And until we can find out how to make them comfortable, we have to wait before we can hire you. Well, I never got the call. And so I just started thinking the Me Too thing just kind of spurred that up in me. And I kept getting this like, oh, you need to do something. You need to do something. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm too busy. And then I was woken up in the middle of the night by God. And must be all those years that I was a lector in my Catholic church back then. Anyways, it must have been for that service because he's like, I want you, girl. So he woke me up and I was like, okay, I get it. And so basically the Unstoppable Woman Summit came together with regards to me opening up the world to how powerful us women really are. You see, we women are the change agents, and we're going to be ones to change the world. It's not going to be a man. And when we come together and unite, as you know, we become an unstoppable force, such as those women in the Me Too movement. When one gal came out, it made it comfortable for all these other women to come out and share their stories, right? And what a powerful movement, sad, but powerful movement that was, because some of these perpetrators are now where they should be, right? Mm-hmm. And so it was just like, okay, I want to do this. I got it. So the Unstoppable Woman Summit is all about helping to elevate, empower, inspire, strengthen, motivate, connect women who really want to really step into doing what they think they're really here to do, but might be afraid or need some encouragement or some guidance or, some connections or just a community that they can be themselves and be vulnerable and let other women support and help them and elevate them up to doing what we're all here to do. And the other thing that's really passionate is me being the only girl in my own family and all the realms that I traveled in other than nursing. And this is a funny story. Even when I was working in the emergency room as an emergency room nurse, I was the only female RN. All the other RNs were guys. So I thought, I'm here in San Antonio half the time, and it's the military city of the USA. We have women veterans. We have every military base here, but you don't see the women like you see the men. The women are literally invisible. I have some good friends. One good friend particularly was a female combat helicopter pilot, did 3 tours in Iraq and would go in and save people. I never knew women could fly a helicopter. I didn't know we were allowed to do that. And when you see TV, watch TV, when they talk about the veterans, who pops up on the TV? They show a man. When they talk about the wounded warriors, they show men. They don't show women. Women, military women do not have a story. They don't have a voice. They're literally invisible. And that just drives me crazy. So I thought, I'm going to find some organizations to support. So the Unstoppable Women Summit, part of the proceeds of that will go to, I found an organization, the Women's Veterans Alliance, that helps women to transition from military life to civilian life. I'm giving part of the proceeds to that organization because women have a tremendously difficult time transitioning from military to civilian. The homeless rate among women veterans are through the roof. There's just so much. It would blow you guys' mind listening if you heard the statistics behind that. And so that is my power, that passion, I should say. I'm putting my power into it, my radiance into it. And I want to take this Unstoppable Women Summit around the world. But right now we're starting in the U.S. because we got to unite us women here first before we can branch out and unite the women around the world. And when we do that, I'm guaranteeing we're going to do that. The world is going to change and it's going to be a much, much better place. So
Wow.
I would love for everybody listening, men too, because you can support a powerful girl, right? I just think it's a powerful woman. And always what comes to my mind is Michelle Obama. Very powerful, very smart, stood behind her husband while he, was the president of the country. And I'm not into the political stuff, but I'm into her because she's a true representation of what a strong, powerful, smart, intelligent woman can do on her own. And we are always supporting our guys. So why not come together collectively as a group and support the world to make it a better place?
Yeah. I'm a very big fan of Michelle Obama as well, independent of political
Right.
or not. Like her book on Becoming Michelle was so insightful. She is a very strong woman. In fact, it must have been very difficult for her to stand behind or beside her husband, as talented and educated as she is.
Right.
I love the whole idea of the Unstoppable Women Summit that you're putting together because for 2 reasons. The Me Too movement part of it and that part is, if the way that we change is by voicing what's happening. And if we don't talk about it, we keep bringing it about. And that's why there was such a big change, right? There was one woman stood up and then the next one found her power so she could stand up, and then people continue to do so. I would love to see us collaborate instead of feeling like we're competing.
Right.
Because weirdly, software developer, first female in my family to get out of college, right? First female, only one in my class in college that was in technology. But it was fine. Like, I didn't have trouble with the guys. There was never a problem. They're like, oh, okay, whatever. But then now, let's get all these strong ladies together so we can prop up the ones coming along. Like, you did all that you've been through and fought all the things you fought, so you can lay a path for the other women to follow, so they don't have to keep cutting down all the weeds, right? Every single time we try to get ahead, right?
Exactly.
So how can people find out more about you, Rochele? Like, what's your hub? Where are you from? Where are you at?
I'm everywhere. I'm
everywhere you want to be.
I'm on social media. I'm everywhere. I am on Facebook, you can find me Rochel Marie Lawson, Rochel Lawson. I'm on Instagram, Rochel Lawson, Twitter, uh, LinkedIn, just about everywhere social media there is. I'm playing in that playground, so to speak.
Great, that's
Um, and then also my website, which is Blissful Living, the number 4 and the letter U.com. You can find me there. You can reach out to me if anything I said has inspired you, or you want to know more, or you're curious, or you would love to be an attendee or speaker or sponsor or vendor at any of the Unstoppable Women Summit. Then I welcome you to connect with me. And I did want to mention that the summit is happening in 7 cities in the U.S., starting in San Diego, be that Mr. COVID allows things to happen. But it'll happen. We may push it out so that everyone's safe and all of that stuff, because, I'm a nurse first, always a nurse, always taking care of people's health and well-being. But starting in San Diego, and then we have Colorado, Washington, D.C., Detroit, Michigan, of course, San Antonio, Texas, San Jose, California, and there's going to be one more city added, and it might be Los Angeles. But yeah, so if you are interested and want to know more, connect with us at Blissful Living, the number 4, the letter U.com, or you can go to unstoppable-women's-summit.com and find out more information. I would love to have as many people there as possible in each of these summits, because I think the more we come together, the more we strengthen ourselves and we unite on a front that I'm telling you will be the best fierce, fearless, unstoppable women around the U.S. and the world. So I'm opening up an invitation to everyone to join us.
Well, thank you so much, Rochelle. We'll make sure that we have all of your information in the show notes so that people don't have to worry if they didn't get a chance to write it all down. But thanks again for taking the time out of your day, even though it's in the 90s, to meet with us here on the podcast. And I look forward to hearing about how all the summits are going for you.
Thank you so much. And I hope to see you at one of those summits. I know where you're up north, but Detroit might be close to you.
I got family up that way, so that could be something that happens.
Mm-hmm. Business trip, girl. Business trip.
They're all business trips. They're all business trips. All right. Well, thank you so much, Rochelle. It was such a pleasure meeting you, and look forward to staying in touch.
Thank you very much for having me, and I appreciate your hospitality and your grace. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.